This Future Construct podcast episode is supported by Applied Software. Applied Software is on a mission to transform industry by empowering their clients and championing innovation with real-world expert consultants. So visit ASTI.com, it's ASTI.com, and please let them know that we here at Future Construct and BIM Designs sent you. Hi, welcome to the Future Construct podcast. I'm your host, Amy Peck. Today, we have a friend and industry colleague, Miquel Vidal, who is the head of XRS, which he will explain a little more shortly. XRS Reality Solutions at CBRE. Welcome, Miquel.
Yay, great to be here, Amy. Excited, looking forward for the next, is it 30 minutes or so? And let's do it.
Okay, all right, well, let's start by what is XRS? For those who don't know all of the vernacular and the acronyms.
Excellent question. So I'm going to tell my definition or where we encapsulate XRS. So for us, XRS stands for Extended Reality Solutions. I know some of them you use XR as an acronym for capturing X as a variable for virtual, augmented, and mixed reality. But the meaning or the acronym we take in CBRE is the extension of reality solutions. And we purposely went from that because we believe that ultimately XR or, aka, virtual, augmented or mixed, it's going to be ultimately an extension of our frontline workers, what we call the augmented worker. So yeah, we've got 20,000 global workers. Clearly, we're not going to go with a big bang and all of 20,000 are going to be embracing XR or extended reality. But we see this as a paradigm shift in the way ultimately we're going to be providing services to our clients. Clearly, this technology is going to change, not just CBRE, but across the board, the way we provide currently solutions to our clients.
Yeah, and it's interesting because CBRE, and I know we don't want to do an advertisement for them, but it's very impressive that, not only do they have you as leading, an actual division looking at this, but it's been for actually quite a while now, right? It hasn't, they've been looking at how this technology can shape kind of the future of work. And so what are some of the ways and trends that you're seeing you bring and say, look at us, we think these kinds of solutions are really going to kind of help streamline workflows or, whatever that outcome is, the ideal outcomes are.
The XR as a whole, as a solution, it's much more powerful as a tool. But right now, what we're focusing is in three main use cases or three main solutions. Number one, by a clear distance, is what we call the connecting workers experience. And basically that's what it is allowing our frontline workers to reach out to subject matter experts, either within CBRE, network of experts or almost as well going through our vendors directly. This clearly we've seen an exponential growth over the last year for the obvious reasons. And clearly that has helped to push that extra push we needed for embracing and adopting this technology, where we've seen our folks out there dealing with the current situation, current and past, in thinking a bit outside the box. So that clearly has accelerated the innovation roadmaps for some of those folks out there, and where they may see some of that maybe down the road, now they see it as an imperative right now, as a key differentiator. So the ability, even in the current or as we move to the new norm, is not going to be as it used to be. Therefore, we see that here to stay, and the way we use this technology to connect our workers through mixed and augmented reality to ways that just a couple of years ago it was even difficult to comprehend. even today, when we provide and deploy and demo this technology, people cannot believe this thing exists, which is a great feeling to have, to put something in front of them and get that wow factor, and very quickly, straight on, they get it. And within days, no weeks, months, within days, they get value and benefits. The second use case is using the same technology for rather than using it for repair, maintenance, also to do inspections, to do audits, to help our broad network of QHSE experts, safety experts, subject matter experts, to help them to do conditioning, to do audits, to do walkthroughs. Again, this has, if anything, accelerated the adoption to the last year, circumstances. And the last one, but not the least, and I think that it's even a bigger one, is be able to use the XR, in particular the augmented and mixed reality, to provide, holographic, step-by-step, immersive training instructions and procedures.
Yeah,
so those are the three main areas.
And I think that those are, I think for any company, those are areas that, almost any company can use a version of that, right? You're using it in a way that's specific to, your industry needs. But I think, kind of collaboration and communication and that sort of remote assist and training are some of the top line use cases within the industry. And then in terms of deploying and you don't have to tell tales out of school in terms of, any company secrets, but are you deploying today and are you working with partners to build out the solutions, or do you have an internal team that's actually working on some of these?
So yeah, we in fact, we've been deploying these for the last 2 years. So, but I have to say it's been, sort of a semi-soft launch, a very quiet soft launch, and that's been done deliberately because we know when that's going to get to the masses, it's going to be, got a lot of attraction. So for the last 2 years, we have been piloting, we have been testing it, we have been doing all sort of proof of concepts to be able to gather all that information, all that case studies, business cases, return of investment, all this good stuff that is required to launch these at such a big scale like CBRE. And currently we have numerous numbers of clients, that's what I'm going to say, all the way from data centers to life science, to banking, to financials, to oil and gas. And clearly, are very initially intrigued, curious, and then right away see the value, the benefits, and then it's no job done, but it's clearly right now is lots of interest within the business.
This episode of the Future Construct podcast is supported by the amazing team at Applied Software. They have solutions for any modern project. Applied Software is on a mission to transform industry by empowering their clients and being the champions of innovation with their real-world expert consultants. They have a comprehensive suite of solutions for AEC, MEP, and manufacturing, and they have a singular focus to help you achieve higher performance. They have software, training, support, consulting, and custom development. Applied Software has you absolutely covered for all of your workflow needs. And BIM Designs is proud to be a client and partner of Applied Software. So visit ASTI.com, that is ASTI.com, and please let them know that Future Construct and BIM Designs sent you. And so we know that these consumer devices are coming. And do you feel as though, those devices hitting the market are going to have an impact on how, easily it will be to start to introduce this technology into the workflow? Because then as a consumer, they'll start to see what the capabilities are. And, we know Apple's coming out with theirs. We know Facebook is coming out with theirs, and there are many others that are going to sort of pile on after. So what sort of impact do you see, having on some of the work you're doing?
It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge because, you know, if you think about it for a second, if we are to teletransport ourselves 20 years ago, so when we first had our first mobile phones, you know, when the mobile phones started, they started at the enterprise level. You know, if you remember the movies, we used to watch those big guys with these big, you know, suitcases, battery size, mobile phones around, walking around Wall Street. And then eventually, when we got the level of size and price down to a consumer level, and we had the Nokias and the Ericssons, yeah, I still do recall those folks, and it got to the consumer level, then there was a big bang. And that's what we need. From an XR perspective, we do want those big boys and girls, you know, to be part of that, because clearly that's going to change the consumer level, and then that ultimately is going to have the ripple effect into the enterprise. So ultimately, we're going to see a similar situation at the mobile phone, where you may see folks bringing their own devices to work to do their job. Whereas now we provide those devices because of a lack of knowledge, lack of awareness. We are pioneering and bringing those devices, but I do see a parallelism between the mobile phones and XR devices. Where we're going, we are in the initial phase. We are the kind of know the Wall Street, you know, big money makers with the big, you know, suitcases, phones, wandering around the streets of New York. I say that because that's what I've seen many times in many movies. But we are being more advanced that, okay? We are being more advanced, but when we're going to have the likes of Apple, Facebook, Google, Amazon, and also there's others out there, Enreal and others that they're spending, you know, no millions, no billions on dollars to move into the next wave of computing.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting time. Yeah, my dad actually did have one of those big briefcases with the phone, and then he had one installed in his car, and it just looked like a regular phone, and it had the little.
Oh yes, that's right. Yes.
You had to take it in, and it had to actually be installed. Yeah, and then here we are. We can't live without those devices now.
Exactly.
Which is interesting. Oh, yeah. And so just in general in the industry, you know, what kind of trends are you seeing, you know, kind of beyond the things that you're looking at directly, but really sort of future forward, you know, across this industry and really with, you know, emerging technology in general?
I think the trend is all about, you know, wearables being smart glasses, wearables being, you know, sensors or wearables. That's where I see the trend, and unfortunately getting even more hooked up into the big cloud to help us, you know, to be more healthy, to help us to be more efficient, to help us to be more effective, and that's what I see as a trend. Which that boils all down to what I was saying about, you know, the spatial computing, the spatial or ambient computing. Because ultimately, XR is just going to be only another funnel or another channel, and be able where we're going to be consuming content. So content right now, we look at our laptop, we look at our phone, tablets, laptop, and the content is restricted into this sort of a piece of hardware. The ambient and the spatial computing through being through lenses or potentially popping your pot and displaying it. It's all going to be integrating new digital content and emerging the physical content around you. And that to me is radical and a huge, you know, paradigm shift in the way the new generations, and including ours as well, are going to be consumed. So we are going to go from looking downwards at our phone to look upwards. You know,
Straight
looking
up.
upwards, projecting all the information as you need it, almost on demand.
Exactly.
So that's where I see the future.
It's funny because I always say that, you know, at least, you know, now my kids will be able to ignore me by looking directly at me. So because their, you know, their Instagram feed will be on one side of my head, they'll text will be on the, you know, so at least, you know, that's progress, right? This is what all this technology is for.
At least they can pretend.
Well, exactly. They could just sort of nod, but they're looking
Yeah,
completely
yeah,
at
yeah.
something else. But that's okay. I'll take it.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
And then, you mentioned, kind of computing and having this information all around us. Consuming content in context and location being a big component of that. How do you see that evolution, and how will we, we're still part of this kind of this digital sharing, right? We're constantly living out loud. We're constantly recording. So are you sort of seeing this as kind of a two-way street? So there's layers of data that we need to access at a particular location at a particular time, but then we may want to share a personal and sort of live there, right? We're able to sort of fix these digital experiences to a place in time. And how do you see that, impacting not only consumers, but what are some of the impacts you see in business around that kind of two-way pipe?
Well, again, I do already see that at a much more scale, especially the experience you just described around the ability to be able to leave content in a particular physical space for maybe someone to come along to experience. Let's imagine for a second, you're walking through the busy streets of New York or any big capital or metropolis, and you need to get from A to B, and you get lost, and potentially you can leave an avatar there, or you can leave someone with experiences. Hey, how to go to the museum, or how to go to the shop. So you literally, by your lenses, glasses, or smartphone, by just hovering around, you'll see those people, they call anchoring, tagging information into the geo position, and then be able to talk to you. And that could be you, could be me, just the same way now. People ultimately are started to build what they call a mirror world from but the equivalent of Google Maps, but at the AR level. So that, taking it a few notches down, and a bit more down today, what that means in practical. What it means in practical from an enterprise point of view, and then that's beyond CBRE. Imagine you having the smart glasses and going to, or not even from an engineering point of view. You, Amy, going to how many times or how much time our employees are spending wasted time to figure out how the coffee machine works in our offices. If you were to time that by the number of people, time of days a year, that could volume up to, thousands of minutes and thousands of hours and days. So imagine you go there and then you literally, to the coffee machine, you tag or you anchor a visual video inscription or how you go about to operate, and you do your special latte. And that you translate that into HVAC systems, you translate that into how to operate a lift, how to operate pretty much anything. So what we see in CBRE as part of the augmented worker is be able to have those folks out there with the headsets, smart glasses, and in 10, 15 years, it's gonna be lenses, let's be honest, to be able to walk to anywhere within their facilities, within their building, and just by hovering around, see where those tag of information you were referring to, you just press on it, or you're just looking at it, staring at it, and then we'll break up the library and see, right, for this particular instrument, coffee machine, HVAC system, or even a printer, which that already, there's a huge case study around printers and how it has improved the services, print sheet support business, small smart glasses. And how many times they've been sending engineers there just to flip the fuse or to the cartridge being blocked. So that's what we see, is the ability to be able to provide that mirror content of that digital twin of information, anchor it or tag it into our top critical assets, top critical components of the business in the building to be able to provide that information.
I'm actually I want to extend that coffee maker into just a virtual barista, that I don't even have to learn how to make the machine, that I walk up and I talk to this digital being, and
yes,
he or she hands me my perfect coffee. That is perfect. And so you mentioned something that I think is really interesting, and was going to be my next question, which is, do you see a point where even, consumer electronics are going to ship with this kind of digital overlay that you can enable through your wearable, so that it actually has this built-in kind of instruction manual that is a digital overlay. And do you see that? I'm not aware of anyone doing it yet, but I can see that that would make perfect sense.
In fact, I think if I may say the name, IKEA. Who doesn't know IKEA? So IKEA, which they've been working on the R&D lab very much around particularly building those experiences. Because what is all boiled down to me, and from my experience, is about experience. And when you be able to provide that experience to an end user, because let's be honest, if you're going to be providing a very bad experience, whatever, how helpful or fancy piece of a kit, that's not going to stick. You need something that sticks to it, something that it resonates. And for me to be able to provide those experiences to help potentially people to build those furnitures and make it even more easier, either is through, IKEA, through an app, which again, an app I could challenge because you need to have one hand holding and the other one trying to screw. That's a bit impractical, let's be honest. But with the headsets, potentially, either not sure they're going to be, not for IKEA purposes, because obviously we're talking about low items price. If you compare it to a printer, which may cost you 100, 200,000. For those sort of high item tickets, yes, I do potentially see, not the sort of HoloLens, sort of half the range, slash Apple mixed virtual reality headsets, but there is other devices in a lower price that basically is just maybe video streaming.
Yeah.
And the size of a smart glasses, smart of spec glasses. Ultimately, they're all going to be going to the size of smart glasses, the smart spec glasses. But there is a couple of, having read about it, instance IKEA, building around the whole, AR around helping people building the furniture. And then also about a printer company shipping those devices as part of the support model.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I've certainly been there with, the 100 pieces just sort of all spread out on the living room floor, thinking, why did I do this? I could have just bought a piece of furniture that was already built.
Yes.
See the value in that. And I think, right, we need to get to this form factor. And so there's that, it's the sort of the technology kind of, path forward, which is, they're big now because we need the compute, but we'll start to be able to offload compute, through cloud and through edge, and to really get to this. And I think you're right. I think I'd really like to see this evolution where we start to actually bring these, sort of bring your own device at work. I feel like that really will be the tipping point.
But in order that to happen, going back to your previous question, Amy, we need the big powerhouses to, put that there at the consumer level, because only then you can see this sort of the intersection, the curve, of adoption, going beyond the charts. I think that's going to happen. At the same time, 20 years ago, people were thinking, "Whoa, what I need a mobile phone for? I don't have one at home already." So sometimes that's what I have to deal with when, why I need the smart glasses? I already have a laptop, or I have already a manual in my office. Yeah, that's the whole point. That's what you need it for. Eventually, most of them we think, and especially the last year, it has given a bit of a kick in the back to accelerate that innovation roadmap, and XR clearly is there.
Yeah. And I think you're right. And I think what'll happen is the smart glasses, just like we do now, like this, there are some things that I'm fine just doing on my phone, but every once in a while, for some reason, when I book travel or hotels, I kind of like to be at my laptop because I want to see the hotel and I want to see all the photographs, especially if it's someplace I haven't been before. And I think it'll be the same with the smart glasses. There are things that you'll be perfectly comfortable with completing with your wearable. Others you want to do on your mobile device, and then still other things on your laptop. So I don't think that's going away. It's really just about workflow.
Yeah, and experience.
Yeah.
Experience has to have that wow, and because there is lots of devices out there. They're all allegedly IXR, and they're all allegedly supposed to be providing the same experience. And I know for myself they don't, and I think that's important that we create and we careful how we categorize the technology and how we go about and talk about it, because that's important.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it has to be simple as well. It has to just be very, very easy. So I'm going to ask you the question that I ask everyone, which is that, you project yourself, 20, 25 years into the future, and you can have any environment or gadget or just something that makes you happy or makes your life better. What would it be and what would it do?
So yeah, that's a hell of a question. But if I may, Amy, and I stay on the XR world, or whatever will be called in 50 years. And again, I'm cheating a bit here because I saw something in one of those, bizarre episodes of what's it called in Netflix? Black
Mirror.
That's right. Yeah, yes. But I'm going to put my spin on it. So my spin on it is, and what I would love is to be able to be able to have a holoportation of someone of your family, close family, who passed away, who you be able to talk to them. Not just from a purely AI point of view, but also somebody who could potentially, take their brains. I know it sounds a bit gosh, but take the brains, and then be able to transform that soul, that thinking, that experience, that person into a holoportation, an avatar, an XR. So you have that person that you love, close to you, your family. You could be potentially a pet, doesn't to be a person, but someone who, again, through XR, you'll be able to holoportate into very close photorealistic, but talk to it as he was there. He, she, or it was there.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's a very interesting blend of technology and humanity. And I feel like that's really what the opportunity is in the future. Yeah, so I love that. I think and again, the purpose is to put it out there, and someone will build this.
Exactly. I did see they saw what I thought. Maybe it wasn't Black Mirror. Maybe it was actually a movie of a machine who you put in your actual living room, which has got basically the soul and the brains of the person who passed away, and you can interact with that person, as he was there.
Yeah.
I thought, well, that's odd. You're not going to talk to a piece of.
You're not going to want it to be a metal, no.
Yeah. So if you can take it that step further and put that as part of a holoportation or hologram of someone, and be able to accomplish the same, but with a visual representation without being there. You don't want it to be too real. Okay. You need to understand there is the difference there, but close enough you can go and talk to. That would be, for me, something that clearly I wouldn't be able to afford it, but I would love to.
Well, like all technology, eventually the price comes down. Yes. Well, excellent. Well, it has been, as always, a pleasure chatting with you and catching up with you. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Likewise. Thanks for having me. And it's been a pleasure, and looking forward to our next panel.
Indeed. Hopefully soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.